Peace, everyone. Welcome to Moorish Monday with Abdullah Il Tale Moksi Bey on Magnet Crystal Pyramid YouTube. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and notification. I want to thank Brother Hank for offering this platform. I've been on Moorish Monday since the first Monday in December 2023. I have a guest who has been on with us. He was one of the he's on the May 18th flyer of the Moorish Unity Conference that was scheduled on May 18th here in Philadelphia. Brother Vicarious Eel, and he's actually did this presentation 2 years ago, and I asked him to do it again. Are you spiritual? What is your spirituality? So, Brother Hank, is Vicarious in the behind stage? So, if you want to purchase my books, Moorish Masonry Part 1, Moorish Masonry Part 2, How Her Venus and Moon Rule, Etymology and Vocabulary, Something That You Want, Masonic Compass Square, the Connection, the Measurement, the Timekeeping. I go to mooresandmasonry.org. mooresandmasonry.org. Not yet. All right. Wow. So this is looking forward to this presentation. All right. My series should be joining us soon. How do I get him? All right. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Once again, hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to the channel. Hit the notification. As you see across the screen, my website to purchase my books. And just waiting for Vicarious to come on. I did speak to him about 30 minutes ago. Maybe he's having trouble. I need to see how we can. I'm looking for his number to give him a call, Hank, so I don't have to get off. How do this?
A call to the warrior in you, to the healer in you, the king, the queen, the magician, the lover in you. Every single day, we are called to walk in our purpose. Answer the call. Lay down your burden and anything that holds you back and take your rightful place. The battle is everywhere. It's right in your face. Let's go.
Crystals and pyramids. Success is your destiny. Yes. Love, wisdom, power. Remember, yes, always who you are. Yes, yes, I am. Love, wisdom, power. Yes, yes.
Family, I am here with a magical moment of young musicians, and this is Kim Sister Kim, and she has a message about investing into the future musicians of our community. Sister Kim, tell us what you got here.
Hi everyone, Kim, proud parent of children at the Big Apple Leadership Academy for the Arts. We teach HBCU high-stepping marching band to our kids from age 5 and up. It is a free after-school program, tuitionless, and it's open to all. Our kids are amazing. If you can, jump on our website. We're looking for support, donations. Our kids need new instruments so that they can high step on. Our website is www.bola.org, BALAA.org. And I appreciate the time. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And so, family, listen up close. We're talking about investing in the artists of tomorrow. By investing in them, if you have a little expendable change to invest in the youth, the genius, this is the opportunity. And in this description on this video will be the details of sending your donation to PayPal or Zelle or Cash App.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you for your support. Our children are the future.
Blessed love, this is Jah Lion King, you know. Priest of an order of Melchizedek. Yeah, man, priest Jah Lion King of an order of Melchizedek. Give thanks to life, give thanks to health and strength, you know. Give thanks to positiveness, give thanks to consciousness, give thanks to righteousness, give thanks to love. Give thanks to Haile Selassie, Jah, universal love, you know, one and all, you know. Give thanks to all good things and all abundance and all blessing and then I approach in a new year, you know. Praying for everyone to be more conscious, more righteous, more loving, caring, more sympathetic, loving each other, you know, and caring for each other, you know, because God is love and love is God, you know, so let us all love, you know. And remember, love is the key that opens all doors, no matter what race or nation. Love is the key that opens the door for only Mount Sinai. And whosoever enter in, ever live in life shall have, you know. So love is the key, you know. So peace and love to the world, you know, and blessing and prosperity and joy and happiness and goodness for 2024. Coming from Andrew Priest, Jah Lion King.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alayhim ghayril maghdubi 'alayhim waladdallin. Alhamdulillah. Dr. Sanada Kamara, co-founder of Temple Mother Earth, sending love, peace, and abundance prayer to everyone around the world.
All right. Thank you. All right. We have Brother by Sirius. Can you put some, we have the background too light. Can you lighten it up, the by Sirius?
Lighten it up.
As far as your face, you can. Well, you want to be on the. All right, we're good. You're good. All right. A little better. All right. Great. Great. All right. So we have Brother by Sirius Ill in the house. We're born and raised in the same city, y'all. Born and raised in the same city. We're 5-6 years apart. And met the brother, about 20, what's that? 20, 15?
Yeah, about 20
years ago.
99,
all right.
2000.
Yes, yes. So I'm excited. He actually did this lesson 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. And I, asked him to do it again. And I'm excited. He'll be on us. He'll be a regular. So I definitely, but Osiris, introduce yourself to us. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, peace. I'm Rosarius L. Born and raised Camden, in the city of Camden, New Jersey territory. Um, I've been in the movement now for probably since about 1997. Probably started a little more in 1995. I linked up with Ab somewhere around 99, back when the Moorish Roundtable meetings were going on in Camden, New Jersey. Um, from there, I hung around with them for a little bit, and then I got with Ab a few years later, and he introduced me to further etymology studies when he introduced me to a class him and a brother named Kameta you put together on etymology and paralegal studies. So I joined that class, which pretty much set me off on etymological frenzy of sorts, because from that point I was already in the words, and that just pretty much set me off even a little bit more. 2010, I moved over here to the Arizona territory, and when I started to try to get with some of the Moors here, wasn't too many temples. It's a very big state, and the Moors here were scattered. Everybody was always saying there's no Moors out here, and I found hundreds, getting closer to the thousands Moors out here in Arizona. It's more of a direction thing. Everybody's part of different groups, what have you. But I dealt with majority of those groups out here, and we dialogue even to this day. And it's more Moors out here in Arizona than you think. You hear about it everywhere else. You don't hear too much about Arizona. There are Moors here. So, and from that point on, I got with some of the bike clubs out here, some of the bikers out here that I was cool with, and they were interested in some of the Moorish information, and I started dialoguing with them. I've been dialoguing with some of the bikers now for maybe 6 years, as well as some of the Masonic orders out here, which the Masonic orders out here run a little bit differently than they kind of do on the East Coast, but that's something for another class or another date. So between the bikers out here who understand now that they are Moors, and some of the Mason brothers who understand now that they are also Moors, we have a lot of numbers out here increasing, and this knowledge is definitely important for out here as well as it is out there.
Now you hear about his outreach now. It's just it's effort. It's 1-2. It's 1-2. All right. It's 1-2. Osiris was one of my distributors of the Illuminati book when it came out in March 2016. Also DVDs. I used to sell DVDs, and I would send him DVDs. When Moors and Masonry Part 1 came out in December 2016, all right, he sold that. I would ship books. I would ship about 10 at a time to him. So he was one of my distributors for a few years. And also the etymology books, the etymology vocabulary, something that you want when it went in spiral bind form. All right. So he was one of my distributors in the 2000 when he moved out there to Phoenix, and continued when Moorish and Masonry Part 1 came out. And then we had lost contact for a short time, and then he reemerged, resurfaced, and that was 2 years ago that we and he's been with the Moroccan Post School of Government International Law for 2 years. So that's I'm very excited. This brother, he has the 1-2, he has the drive, and I urged him to begin his own platform. So, want to talk about your platform?
So my platform right now is For the Love of Moors 372. That's on the Telegram platform. Pretty much with that platform, I'm using that to bring forth a lot of brothers and sisters who might not have the direction or have been caught up in the different misconceptions that's been going on for decades that we've been dealing with in the Moorish community. So I utilize that platform as a way to inform and to bring the information to the table and make them brothers and sisters question what they have learned and check it with factual based information that has always been here, but for some reason has been kept hidden in this community for some reason. So
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so that's for the love of Moors 372 on Telegram.
He also shares the classes, the recorded classes with the various those in Moorish Science Temple, Bike Masons, Eastern Stars, Biker Clubs. So he's been doing that for a couple of years now. So it's once again, it's 1-2. And remember, he's not from there, y'all. I mean, he's not from out there. He's from here. He's from over here. he's from he's from where I'm at. You know, as far as this part of the country. You know, he's not born and raised over there. All right. So, you know, so if he can do it, not being born and raised over there and being able to make the connections, you know, with various groups now. This is various groups now that he's connected to. Right. So with the increase of his knowledge and moving to proper concepts, you know, he's able to, and then with his platform, he's been asked, also talk about you're being asked to speak.
Yeah, I get asked to speak, depending, especially for like the Grand Canyon Moors. We have certain temples out here that are still working on obtaining brick and mortar and things like that. But a lot of the biker clubs, even some of the Masonic orders, some of their classes, you know, I've been invited to their classes to actually teach on certain topics. Pretty much the knowledge is out here. And there are a lot seeking the knowledge. And it's time now to do away with all the misconceptions that we've been dealing with, trying to keep us away from what's really going on, getting us caught up in, I'm going to say, trivial battles or trivial chess matches that really have no bearing on what we need as a nation. So, as far as speaking, yeah, I've spoken at a few places. I still actually speak and do classes with some of the brothers who come through the Prince Hall communities and even other communities, as well as the bike clubs. You know, it's real funny sometimes when the president of a bike club asks you to speak on cosmology. You know, that's a little different when you think of the atmosphere that you're in. But this knowledge is wanted.
Right. So he's also have sold my Masonic Conference Square book out there. Yeah, so that's a big seller out there for him. So let's get started, brother. Our serious. All right.
All right.
Hank, he's going to share his screen on the. So give you access so you can share your screen with us.
Okay.
All right. So once again, y'all see if you see across the screen, mooresandmasonry.org. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel. Hit that notification. Hit the like buttons or other, and also there's a whole lot of other wonderful speakers who have come on Hank's platform over the years. Who, you know, he's always had some wonderful speakers. I think he mentioned that he met Duke Tears today, and he's going to have him on his platform. So Hank has a large outreach. You know, he has had some heavy hitters on his Magna Pyramid Crystal YouTube platform. And so the brother, you know, so I definitely want to continue to give my appreciation to brother Hank. All right. So you ready, my serious?
Yeah, just waiting for him to allow me to share the screen.
Brother Hank. You walk away. All right. So all right.
Brother, you go ahead. You got to go ahead and put it up. It's on your end.
It's on mine now.
On your end, you got to do it through your computer. You know how to do it? What you do is you use the same link that you came on with. You put that same link on your computer.
I'm on a phone.
You need a computer.
Okay.
You know, so
You
that
using your
you have
phone?
a screen, so
Yeah, I'm on
everybody
a
can see
phone.
the screen on your laptop or your computer. So
He said he's using his phone, Hank.
then you can't do it.
He said you can't do
I
it.
don't know. You can't do it from your phone because how you gonna pull up the screen if you use your phone?
Can you do? Can you use your computer? My serious?
No, not right now.
All right. Well, you're gonna have to up your dome, brother. All right. It's your dime, brother. Go on top of your dome, brother. All right. It's your dime. We live and direct, bro. We live and
All right.
direct.
So first,
All right.
so
Here we
first
go.
off, So first off, one of the things I wanted to basically do was give honors to Noble Drew Ali. I wanted to give honors to Marcus Mosiah Garvey. I want to give honors to Shem Malachi Bey, and also I want to give honors to Brother Abdullah, who's pretty much been helping me through all of this. And I've been running with the brother for so long between the misconceptions discovered between the both of us and where we are now. I'm so proud to be around this brother right now. So let me see here. Everybody can still see me.
Yeah. Yeah. You good? Everyone can see you.
All right, let's do this.
Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. So you see there
Um,
once again, click the notification, subscribe, hit the notification button. If you haven't done so already, you see across the screen my website, mooresandmainstreet.org. Let me know when you're ready. Also, we have the uh the Moorish Moroccan Post, the Moorish Investigative Research Committee. Our class that we did on this past Saturday is posted on my YouTube page, my website, my Facebook page, Abdullah Bey. I've also shared it out, to hundreds of people already. All right. So let me know when you're ready, brother.
all right, so one of the things I wanted to get into is we're talking about spirituality. Now, most of us walk around and we're saying that we're spiritual. I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. Do we even know what spirituality is? Do we know what spirit is? Now, I can't show you, but I'm going to read everything that I have so that I can give you an understanding when I go through the definitions and give you their origins, since you can't see it. Now, number one, spirit comes from a spiritus or spirar, which is Latin. Now, spirit means breath. So when we're walking around talking about we're spiritual beings or we're highly spiritual beings, what are we talking about if spirituality means breathing? What does spirituality have to do with religion? What does spirituality have to do with you having knowledge of self? If you're spiritual and you have knowledge of self, what do you have knowledge of? Is it your breathing? Because I see a lot of us walking around, we smoking, we have improper breathing habits, which causes us to walk in a certain way. If anybody ever really pays attention to it, how we breathe affects everything that we do in life. How we breathe affects everything that we intake into our temple, everything that we intake into our mind. So if this is true spirituality and we're talking about breathing, then I guess we're getting more into yoga sciences and things like that. Because when you get into yoga, they have the yoga positions. The positions, they call them asanas. Now, an asana basically is a geometric formation that you shape your body into in order to breathe in or intake spirit a certain way. So they're called asanas in the yogi tradition. When you get into proper breathing, which they call it pranayama, that is the transmutation of the air that you're breathing into something more. So there's a lot to this breathing. And to simply say you're walking around, I'm spiritual, is not saying that you are breathing correctly. It has nothing to do with breath. The closest to breath that most religions can tell you is that their creator breathed into man, or breathed into clay, or breathed into earth and animated the being. So if that's what spirit is, and spirit has to do with breath, what animated you? Why is that so important? And why are we utilizing spirituality or spirit today in a whole nother fashion? When some of us think of spirit, we think of some kind of ghost form of us that's inside of us or outside of us, depending on what science you're dealing with. Now, because we're dealing with spirit, you can't get around the factor of dealing with mathematics. It seems like they wouldn't apply together, but let's get into it. Now, the universe pretty much is geometry. The universe is mental. All is numbers. Geometry is the key to unlocking the cosmic pattern behind creation and the harmonic blueprint of the universe reflected in all living things. Geometry unveils the knowledge of the master builder and grand architect of the universe, the ancient knowledge of numbers, time, space, and the universe. So if mathematics is the underlying basis of all things in the universe, and the universe is mental and still dealing with numbers, how does spirit apply to that? Does spirit not come from the universe? Do you not come from the universe? So now normally, let's get into breath. Now normally, the adult breathes at an average of 18 breaths per minute when subjected to very light activity or seated at rest. When we are concentrating, one second. There you go. Now, when we are concentrating heavily on a subject, our rate of breathing automatically drops to about 9 breaths per minute. Now, we may have noticed that usually protracted or concentration work, readily runs into, a state of tiredness, fatigue, sleepiness, basically. All right, now this is due to diminished intake of air. Once again, how we breathe. That diminished intake of air is also utilized to induce trance, depending on what people or what culture that you're dealing with that are still part of us. All right, so there are certain numbers that's basically broken down in the way that we breathe, the ratio of how we breathe. All right, all of that changes the frequency as well as the consciousness of everything, once again, that we intake. There is a harmonic to it. Now, I want to read you something from a book called Metu Netter by Raun Neferamin. All right. Now, Raun Nefer says the harmonics of breathing. All things vibrate, including the human spirit and body, and each thing vibrates to its specific key. Vibrating mechanisms of the human body is the breathing system. Now, when we are seated at rest, the spirit vibrates. We breathe at 18 waves per minute. Comparing the cyclical values of our respiratory and circulatory systems with the solar system, which yields some very revealing things. Now, let's begin with the fact that there's a 1-to-4 ratio between our breathing and pulse rates. So that's roughly about 18 breaths to 72 pulses. So at 18 breaths to 72 pulses, and the rate of the Earth's rotation and the time it takes to rotate 1 degree every 4 minutes. A good meditation objective would be to see if the 1-to-4 relationship between our breathing and the pulsation rate was determined by the clocking mechanism that controls the Earth's rotation around its axis. So do we breathe like this because of the way the Earth moves on its axis? Or is that just something that's coincidental? Would you say it's coincidental? Let's continue. Now, the average rate of 18 breaths per minute equals 25,920 breaths a day. I'll say that again. The average rate of breaths The average rate of 18 breaths per minute equals 25,920 breaths a day. Now, this figure, 25,920, corresponds with the number of years it takes for the North Pole to trace a complete circle through our zodiac. Now, the significance of this relationship has been known for thousands of years, although its true meaning has been lost to all authors since the destruction of the Temple of Luxor. 25,920 years it takes for the North Pole to go through all 12 signs of the zodiac in the sky. So we have 12 signs in the zodiac. Those same 12 signs can be broken down into periods of time. So one zodiac sign is 30 degrees. We have 12 signs. 12 times 30 gives you 360. So it's 360 degrees in a circle broken down into 12 spheres or 12 constellations or 12 time periods. The ancients, they called it an age. So for each zodiac, it was 2,160 years. So at 2,160 years per zodiac sign, when you go through all 12, you will come up to 25,920 years, equal to the same thing as 18 breaths per minute. And you go through how many minutes in a day? We know it's 24 hours in a day. 60 times 24 gives you amount of minutes in a day. 18 breaths per minute, 25,920. So with each zodiac sign being 2,160 years, that's what at the time they considered an age. So in that age of 2,160 years, some of the ancient ones, especially those in the Kemetic science in Egypt or in Kemet, the Kamal people, depending on what science you're dealing with our ancient brothers and sisters, our ancient foremothers and forefathers, the 2,160 years or the 30 degrees inside of each zodiac was even broken down even further into a decan. Now that decan, there's 3 of them per sign. So if we do the math, if you have 3 decans per sign, how many years is a decan? 720 years per decan. So at 720 years per decan times 3 gives you one zodiac sign of 2,160 years, which be 720 times 3. Now, to go further in this, the Hindustan, our Hindustan brethren and sisters, Moors, to give you something with them, the knowledge of the harmonics of breathing survives veiled in the Hindu allegory of the yugas and the Chaldean sacred cycles of the Saros and Naros. Now, according to Hindu allegory, man is not always behaved as he currently does. There was a time when all men were honest and truthful. Now, this was during the first 4 ages of which in history of mankind is divided. Now, this golden age or Krita Yuga or Satya Yuga, all right, honesty, lasted for 1,728,000 years. Remember that number, 1,728,000 years. It was followed by other ages in which man's goodness and power degenerated by degrees. Following the golden age was the silver age, known as the Tetra Yuga. It lasted 1,296,000 years. Now, this was followed by the copper age or the Dwapara Yuga and lasted 864,000 years. 864,000 years. Now, the last age in which we living in now started in about 3150 BC, after the death of Lord Krishna. Now, this is the Iron Age, which is known as Kali Yuga, and will last for 432,000 years. 432. Now, together, they add up to a great period, which they call the Maha Yuga. All right, that great period of time where they have it all together, which equaled about 4,320,000 years. Now, most books on Hindu culture, they simply mention the allegories as unprovable scientific fact of the solar system. We discover some startling correspondences. Now, the correspondences, if you think about it, I just went through the 25,920 year cycle that it takes the North Pole to go from one sign to the last sign. All right. We went through the periods of 72. All right. So the earth moves at a rate of 1 degree each 72 years. So every 72 years, the earth moves 1 degree. Mind you, it has to go through 360. It moves 1 degree every 72 years, which they said is similar to our pulse rate. Now, since it's 30 years or 30 degrees each sign, 72 times 30, 25,920. 2,160, which is an age, times 12, 25,920. Our zodiac broken down into 3 deacons, each deacon having their own time period. In fact, each deacon had its own constellation or its own star because they were written on the coffins roughly around 2700 BC. They were finding them on coffins. Now, all of these same numbers that I gave you, all the yugas, the 432,000, the 72 degrees times 30, the 25,920, the 2,160. The one thing that all these numbers have in common, if anybody hasn't checked into it, is the fact that when you add all of these numbers up and break it down to a single digit, it still comes up with 9. So 25,920 years, 25920. Break it down to one digit, 9. Pulse rate is 72. 9, 7 and 2. 360 degrees in a circle, 3 and 6, and 0, 9. Even if vibration ratios in the yugas of the Hindustan with their 432,000 year cycle, 4,320,000 years at the end. If you take 432, or I'm sorry, 4,320 times 4 times 100, you get 1,728,000. 1728 followed by 3 zeros is still 9. Why is this 9 so sequential in nature? Why does this same 9 apply to our breathing? At 18 breaths per minute, that's at rest. That's when we're sitting doing nothing. They say melanin man is composed of 666. 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons. 666 is 18. We're back to that 9 again. What is the science of this 9 that's so important in nature? And don't get me wrong. The 9 is important, but that's not to say that it's important, more important than any other number, because I can get with you on 3. I can get with you on 5. I can get with you on a square. We can get into the platonic solids and talk about why those geometric shapes are important and how it's based in sound that bring that about. Everything is energy, even our breathing. To bring our breathing into a certain harmonic frequency, we have to practice denial, not slow breathing, sitting there and just, no, that's not enough. You slowing down your breathing rate or your breathing rate is not going to make you any more spiritual. You quickening your breathing rate is not going to make you any more spiritual. If 666 is the number of the beast, and we who have melanin have the number or the mark of that beast, then we're the beast walking around that needs to change its breathing in order to obtain some form of what we call godhood. To get closer to God, you need to change your breathing. To get closer to the Creator, you need to change your breathing. When your Creator expelled you after 9 months through her stargate, she had to breathe in order for the contractions to push you forward out into the physical realm or out into the outside womb realm. You had to be contracted and pushed through that stargate. You ain't walk out. You ain't crawl out. And if she didn't breathe right, she went through pain. So understand the true importance of breathing. Your spirituality is based in your breathing, not slowing it down. How many of us, when we actually inhale breath, when you inhale spirit, how many of you expand your abdomen? I mean, you're inhaling. Something's coming in your body. Why isn't your stomach expanding, accepting it properly? Because you shallow breathing. Shallow breathing don't get you closer to God. The Hindustan deal with yoga not only as a science, but as a culture. It's a way of life. So think about that. How to breathe is a way of life. How to breathe. That sounds like spirituality to me. How to breathe. You intake breath and you don't even expand your stomach. What are you intaking? Nothing. You intaking it all into your chest and it stops there. How does the energy circulate through the rest of your body when you're not breathing properly? When our foremothers and forefathers would utilize breathing to go into trance, when they utilize breathing at certain geometric positions of their body, you think it's just the folding up of the legs and things like that. If you ever pay attention, those are geometric formations that those asanas are doing. And it's all based in mathematics. Your breathing is even still affected by the universe. When you're swimming and you're in water, you have a different breathing rate. They say, hold your breath. No, you're supposed to breathe with it. For every time you dunk underwater, when you come up, they say, come up for air. What are you doing? Inhaling. Taking the spirit, go underwater. Breathe in the spirit, change the frequency in your body. Proper breathing allows you to control your diet. Proper breathing allows you to expel carcinogens that you're around. Proper breathing allows you not to take them things into your temple other than going through your epidermis, which is your skin. Your skin breathes. It ain't just coming out your nose and your mouth and your ears. No, it's not coming out just your orifice. No, your skin breathes. Your skin lives. It's living. It's a part of what makes up the temple of you. Masonry knows it. They utilize it in their sciences. It's not nothing hidden. And that's not to say anything negative about masonry. It's our culture being utilized as a teaching mechanism and a civilization principle for those who were not totally civilized at a time. More science is cosmology. Cosmology, the cosmos, the universe. Everything without is within. We just went through sciences of just the number 9. It's not counting the square, which still brings you to 9 because it's 4 degrees or 4 90-degree angles. But we also deal in triangles, which triangle is 180 degrees when all its angles are added up. Once again, 9. Mathematics is an underlying principle we cannot escape even in our spirituality. It's caught up in how we breathe, how we eat, the things that we do that are ritual throughout the day. Ritual comes from a rite. A rite comes from arithmos, which is Greek. It's where we get arithmetic from. So a rite or a ritual is nothing but the mathematics that you utilize to get you through the day. We utilize math all the time, but we never apply the fact that it's the breathing math that changes your frequency. The wavelengths that exist within you that allow you to pick up on different things. They say the ancient ones had gifts, telepathy, things like that. That takes a different type of breathing structure because you breathe in the way that you breathe is not going to get you any kind of magic. If the power and the energy is within you, how can you access it if you can't breathe? What spiritual gifts are you obtaining if you can't breathe? Now, that's not to say that there's not some special ones out here who, without properly breathing, they are in tune. But understand that there's different levels of this always. Mathematics, arithmetic, rites, ritual, it makes up our entire day. Most Muslims at a minimum pray about 5 times a day. They have it at certain time periods of where the sun is at that time of the day. That dictates when they pray. So the movement and mathematics of the sun dictates their spirituality. Our spirituality is of the utmost importance, so most of us say. But in dealing with our spirituality, how many of us actually function on breathing? It's that simple. Breathing. Most of the magic that we try to obtain, some of us calling the names of magi and things like that. How do you breathe? She's so spiritual. He's so spiritual. Really? They must be great breathers. How we breathe is what dictates our spirituality. The mathematics and harmonics of it. It has nothing to do with religion. And if you truly understood religion, you would understand that there's a math to it as well. And it doesn't take you away from how you breathe. How we worship, how we adore and show adoration should affect how we breathe. How spiritual are you? And what makes you spiritual? Spirituality, being spiritual, exists in us all day long. Because there's not a time that you go through the day, whether sleep, awake, running, swimming, fighting, studying. You always breathing. Breathing brings you closer to deity. Deity breathed into you and animated you to a living form. Whether you want to call that creator mom, because mom took a substance that's within her and contracted, and it breathed. And here we are. Can't call ourselves God if we don't know who God is or what God is. The same way we can't be spiritual or call ourselves spiritual beings. We don't know how to practice breathing. It's not a secret science. It's breathing. It's funny to look at things like we literally have to study how to breathe. How we breathe puts us in trance and be able to even talk to the ancestors. Most of the magic that's being practiced in the world is based on breathing. We can get into diet and many other things. But even when you eat, you breathe. How spiritual are you? We can dictate how other people aren't spiritual. But how spiritual are you? How do you breathe? With that, I say peace.
Well, can we open up some questions?
Definitely.
Type your questions then. This was very whew, man. Brother, you did this justice, man. Oh my goodness. I was just, you saw how my facial expressions were. I was highly pleased because you're giving the people the proper the proper meaning of spirituality, that proper application is you put it in a set them in its bin, its culture and setting in time. You apply the proper cultural application to it. It was absolutely, man, wonderful, brother.
Appreciate it.
You didn't have the screen up, but you did a wonderful job, man. This was great, brother. We got to open up for questions. This is because that the etymology, because etymology means the history, origin, and true meaning of words. Words, when you're talking about a language, you're talking about culture. It's not just language is a vehicle, that which we communicate with each other. That means you don't understand language then. If you only say it's that. If you only defining it as that. Anyone who defines it merely as that don't understand language.
Indeed.
They don't. They don't understand language because it's the culture. It's that passing. The culture's being passed down. The ideas, the folkways, how they, the ideas of, the knowledge base of a society that is passed down through language. It's just not a mere, way in which people communicate. They don't want us to know the cultural embodiment of language. It's the preservation of a culture that then's passed down through language. So this is so the European conquerors, conquistadors know that. Know that. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions?
Yeah, I understand it's a science that most don't deal with when you're dealing with spirituality. I don't think I upset anybody in stating what spirituality is. It's a part of what you already knew and what you already are. It's just that much more. You can pray all day, but when you pray and you breathe a certain way, they call them affirmations. When you pray and you breathe a certain way, they call them chants. And even when you add frequency or sound wave frequency to something, they wanted to call it a chorus or a curse. So the root, origin, meaning of words in their cultural context by the people who are utilizing those particular words is highly important. The same way we walk around talking about things are nice, when in its original meaning, nice meant ignorant. But we walk around today as the word means pleasant and always has meant pleasant. And that is a fallacy. We're adapting someone else's cultural meanings. And I don't even want to call them cultural meanings, because nice does not mean something good the way we think. It did not come from that. And when you understand the language crossover, that's why in most books that you read, you have a translation and you have a transliteration. And they're not the same thing. They're not the same thing. The cultural meaning of a word by the people to where who you're studying, that's the meaning you have to go by. You can't go by the cultural meaning as this people over here put it, but then sometimes you can because they're almost identical. But then you got those who utilizing it to cast spells and get you to cast spells on yourself. And one of the things that's never touched on is breathing. They got you thinking spirituality is strictly religious. It's just, oh, if you're spiritual, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. It's a separation. It's a difference. Can you explain that to me? Because in your spirituality, you're not telling me nothing about how you breathe. You're telling me about standards and principles that make you a good person or would make you feel a certain way by how you conform. But that's not telling me what spirituality is. And you think about it, ask most people out here that claim that, yeah, I'm spiritual, I'm not religious. Ask them to break that down. It'll seem like they're giving you the meaning of religious. I trust in the universe. Okay, so you trust in breathing because breathing is part of the universe. The universe contracts and expands as well. For every star that closes in on itself and then boom, expansion. That one star now just created a galaxy through an explosion, through contraction and expansion, through the taking in and sucking in and expelling. The universe breathes. So if you're universal, you still saying you know how to breathe. How do you exercise that? At least once a day, every day. In a 365 day rotation around the sun in the mathematics that we go by today. How many of those days do you actually breathe properly? How many days do you donate to the universe? How many days you donate to just practice breathing once a day? For every deacon in the zodiac had a star that applied to it. And guess what it also had if you get into the Kemetic studies? A meditation and a way of breathing for that deity or for that time period. Every 10 days, a different star rose up with the sun. At that time, it was what, for lack of a better word, we would call it a 10-day week that the Egyptians or the Comedians was using then. We had 3 10-day weeks that denoted a moon cycle or a month, as they called it. Right now, we got 7 days. Wasn't always 7 days in a week. Everybody's calendar fits the nation that's dealing with the calendar. Who says that everybody's calendar has 7 days? Who says that everybody's dealing with a solar calendar? You still have lunar calendars. You have Slavic cycles. You have different cycles depending on the constellation and the time period that we were in when they were being utilized. They say right now we're in the age of Aquarius, which is the information age. So all the information is being released. All the secrets is coming to the forefront. Yeah, and what you're coming to find out is most of the secrets that you thought were secrets ain't really secrets. You were just kept away from it systematically on purpose to teach you how not to breathe. And we stand here still today, running around, trying to figure out how to breathe. We need to awaken Morocco. And Morocco needs to breathe. It's more than just the science of the breath that we're taking. Breathing is part of the very nature and everything that we're doing. Post-millennium. Nations have known about this for centuries. Why the Moors just figuring it out? Why some Moors just figuring it out in a movement that's been around for over 100 years? Why is it just being talked about now? Why are we still running around going to court talking about we're a consul, but your mother is asleep? How are you a consul? Who do you represent? How are you presenting yourself? It sounds to me like you might be presenting yourself in a negative way. Our mother needs to be raised, not just in courts of traffic, not questioning the wrong people, asking for a delegation of authority order as if that's relevant. Not going around with dogma, teaching our babies dogma when they should be knowing science, when they should be knowing arithmos, when they should be knowing spirit and spirituality. How can you really say you teach your children spirituality when you can't breathe yourself? And I stay on this breathing aspect a lot because it's a part of everything we do. When brothers go fight a case, they take that breath before they go to war, and then they go to war. The ability to change your frequency and your mindset all does start from breathing. And when you can do it and utilize it properly, it's a small, basic step in the midst of everything else that we're trying to do. We have a plan. The protocols of liberty is going to happen. The Shem Malachi Bay plan is going to happen. Those of us that's taking the time to learn this, we're taking the time to learn it because it's about saving our nation. I don't know about you, but I'm sorry. I got 17 children, and they're going to be in this when I'm not here. Something that should be definitely on their lips post-millennium. Treaties. Law. Knowing the law that you're dealing with. Knowing the principles on how to make things move at law and in law. Every time I learn something new, especially coming from Ab or Brother Shem, or I'm going to say this, Brother King, every time I hear something that I didn't know, and I find a way because they show you how to utilize it, all of this to me is a saving power. It's the manifestation of that saving power Noble Drew Ali talked about as well. We ain't hiding it. They not charging you money to get it. We not taking nothing out your baby's mouth. This is work. And we here to work. And we need to grow. We need to grow. We need all the help we can get so that everything's not on the pressure of just Ab and Shem and some of the other brothers that be Kono and some of the other brothers that be helping out. This is not all pressure on them. These brothers need to breathe. That takes some of us stepping up and teaching as well, so they don't always have to. We need to help the brothers to breathe so that they can put themselves in better position to help us breathe more as well. Each one teach one. Always been that way. Always should be. I don't know if certain things are not respected because there's not a financial number or dollar sign put next to it for these classes, but these classes is here and these classes is free. Use them. It's costing you nothing except chronos, time. So if it's costing you nothing but time, please get into studying, brothers and sisters, because this is highly important. And what we're trying to do is highly, highly needed and necessary. And if you look at the way things is going on in the world today, it's a lot of fraud going on. A lot. You don't even know it's fraud because you still think it's, I guess they'll say, legal. You think it's legal. Legal and lawful ain't the same thing. If there are no questions, there are no questions. If you have questions, bring them to the table. Can't hear you, Ab. While the brother's figuring that out, if anybody want to reach out to me, I'm in currently right now Glendale, Arizona. I can be reached at 602-755-2581. Shoot me a text. I guarantee I'll answer your call if you follow up with one. Got anything, Ab? You sound off.
Yes. Any questions, brother? I don't have anything to add, brother. You have laid it down so well, so wonderfully. All right, so we've gone over an hour, and you've done a wonderful job. And man, I'm looking forward to listen to this again. Of course, I'm going to push it, and this is when can we have you back? We'll have you next month. Next month, I got next month. So let's have you back next month to give me put a date in for one of the Mondays that you would like to do.
Okay, I'll definitely do that.
Yeah, this is needed, bro. You are a wonderful teacher. You did an excellent job. So
hey, I appreciate it. I hope I gave everybody value. I did say my phone number, so just give me a hit. Islam. Sound. Your sound, Ab.
give them the Telegram page for the Love of Moors. For the number 4.
Yeah, so it's number 4, DA, for the love, LUV, of more, MUUR, 372.
372 for the yes.
Now that's the Telegram page.
That's the Telegram page. You have any upcoming? What's your next speaking engagement?
The next
King
one
said he asked a question. Brother Hank, people texting me that they putting questions in the chat. You see questions in the chat, Hank? Okay. What's your next speaking engagement or series?
Well, pretty much I speak every one Sunday a month for sister named Wazira, sister in Washington. I speak on her class. I'm
Okay.
getting my platform together more so that I'm speaking the first and fourth Tuesday of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Long as it's not interfering with one of the other meetings, sometimes they'll compose with
Yeah.
something to come up on a Tuesday, in which case I'll change it so that meeting can go through and we can be on that one.
All right.
But definitely every other Tuesday. This Tuesday, I will be putting something on tomorrow.
All right.
And that's on the For the Love of Moore's platform. I will be putting something on tomorrow.
Oh, so you're gonna be tomorrow? What time?
Tomorrow, East Coast time, 8 o'clock.
All right, 8 o'clock tomorrow, y'all. 8 o'clock tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time. On for the Love of Moors, and I'll get that out. All right. Send me your topic, serious, and then
Okay.
I can push. I can help push that on For the Love of Moors live and direct. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow.
Yes.
Brother King text me. His question is, how can breathing raise? I didn't see, because it was the text and I couldn't see the whole thing. I believe raise vibration. I think after raise was um vibration. How can breathing raise one's vibration?
Okay. So, in the process of breathing, when we take in air, we're taking in a lot of the pollutants and things like that. Now, our body in itself has its own filtering system with that same air. Now, in the Asar Society back in the day, they used to have, well, even today, they had something called MNABs. MNABs was a way of breathing in a certain cyclical frequency. So as you intake breath, you may intake breath for about 12 seconds. While intaking that breath, you expanding your abdomen to generate and show that you are taking in breath. Because if you're breathing, it's not supposed to be just up in your chest. All right. It's supposed to be in your abdomen and fill up your abdomen. If you're saying something, the sound's off. All right. So when you're intaking the abdomen, you're expanding your abdomen as you're taking in that breath. So if you intake a breath of, say, 12 seconds, just using this as an example, your abdomen should be expanding. So for 12 seconds, you inhale, and then it might be for about 6 seconds or more that you hold it. You might hold it for 24 seconds, depends. You'll hold it. And then you'll spend another 12 seconds expelling that same air that you inhaled. You're not forcing it. You're not just blowing it out. You're expelling it a certain way. Now, depending on the type of exercise that you're doing determines what's going to open up within you. So if you're going into trying to breathe for a trance, for instance, your breathing for a trance also depends on diet. See, a lot of people think it's just a factor of just breathing. It's more than breathing, it's also diet. Changing the vibration in you or stimulating the air within you, you can do that by a few simple breaths. But depending on what else you want to do, if you're trying to the breathing to go into trance is different. The breathing to give you energy to make moves is different. Some of us have to breathe a certain way to even obtain sleep. So depending on the frequency and what exercise that you're trying to do, there's a breathing frequency for it. For me, when I need to stimulate proper air, I do that MNAB. Now that MNAB for me might be 7, 7, and 7. I'll inhale for 7, I'll hold it for 7, I'll exhale for 7, and I may do that repeatedly 7 times. At the same time I'm doing that, I'm visualizing what I want to do that requires that energy. So while I'm visualizing what I'm trying to do or what I want to do and what I'm going to be utilizing that energy for, that's all a part of the mental picture and mental focus I'm utilizing while I'm doing that same 7 intake, 7 hold, 7 expulsion of air. So that same 777 frequency, I still have a mental picture that I'm utilizing while doing that same thing. or not so much of a picture. It may be an act. Some people, when they get ready to run a marathon, they'll sit there, they visualizing, they looking at where they got to go that's in front of them. They taking the breaths that they need to take, and then the gun go off, bow, and they on it. And they start running. Already, they done ran it in their mind. While I'm breathing, I'm picturing whatever I have to do in my mind already, and I'm completing it in my mind. So while I'm completing it in my mind and matching it with the breathing that I'm doing to excite the energy in me or excite that thought, because certain thoughts cause you to breathe a certain way. When you're in fear, you breathe a different way. When you're elated or very happy, you breathe a certain way. When you learn to control the breathing for all of them, you'll know which breath or which breathing tactic or technique is needed in order to exercise certain things in you. Because it's not to say that it's a uniform technique. The mathematics for me might not be the mathematics for you. You have a different body chemistry than me. Your breathing is going to be different than mine. So somebody who say carries a lot of weight, more than what their height should stand, they breathe differently. But if they could take the time out to master that breathing, they'll be able to move around like any skinny person out here. It's how they breathe. That breathing circulates energy through every other part, every cell in your body. If you're only breathing into your chest and you stop right there, that's shallow breathing. It's not going to your abdomen. It's not expanding your abdomen. Your whole body is not even taking in the air. Now, for me personally, my stimulation is 777, which it can be different for anybody. It's just something that I've worked with over a period of years. Sometimes I do the 12-6-12 ratio. So when you learn you and how you breathe, because like I said, I don't know your body chemistry or whatever, but to stimulate the air in me, that's what works for me. I don't know if I answered the question properly.
No, yeah, you did. That's this question raised by you did. All right. This is once again, brother. I don't. If there's no any more, there aren't any questions left. All right. So once again, my throughout the night, my website's been going across the screen. mooresmastery.org for my books. Moore's Mastery Part 1, Moore's Mastery Part 2, How Her Venus and Moon Rule, Etymology and Vocabulary. Etymology and Vocabulary is something that you won. The Masonic Compass and Square and the Connecting the Measurement and Timekeeping. Illuminati and Illumination of the Mind. So go to mooresmastery.org. Also, the Moroccan Post School of Government and International Law. There you go. It came out in March of 2016. Illuminati and the Illumination of the Mind. The Moroccan Post School of Government and International Law have free courses on the Moroccan Post Media YouTube page. Also, we have the Moorish Investigative Research Committee for classes are on that page as well. The Moorish Investigative Research Committee hosted by the Moroccan Post School of Government and International Law and the Moorish Union of Sovereign Tribes, King El Bey. All right, so we have the 4 classes on there. It's open to the public. The 4 classes, the video are the actual committees are not open to the public, but the actual recordings of the classes in the committee are open to the public. So anyone who you can share it, post it, all right, share the classes. So the Moroccan Post Media YouTube page has all 4 of the Moorish Investigative Research Committee classes on there. So once again, I want to thank you, Brother Viserius, for giving a wonderful, enlightening, illuminating, elucidating, education that you drawing out of us that which is already in us. All right. All right.
I
Great
appreciate
job,
it, bro.
brother. Great job. So tomorrow on For the Love of More, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What's the topic for tomorrow, right? Serious? Do you have the topic?
Yeah, it's going to be on the science of the power of patents and dealing with the Dungan patent.
All right, this is what you did on my Facebook page a couple months ago. All right, we
Right.
did Facebook Live. All right, so good. That's tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you again.
Sure.
Peace, everyone. Once again, give Brother Hank a bow and a hand for offering this platform. I've been on Moorish Monday on the Magna Pyramid Crystal YouTube page. Like and to subscribe to various videos. Check out other videos. Also, hit the notification button. All right. So thank you, Brother Hank, for this platform. Until next Monday, this is Moorish Monday with Abdullah Il Talib Mosi Bey on the Magnetic Crystal Pyramid YouTube page. Peace, everyone.